Hello,
Hi.
Natalia. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Thank you. You hear me well?
I can hear you well. I can see you. How about me? Can you hear me? See me?
Perfect. We finally
Wonderful.
made it.
No, it's been a long time in the coming, in the
Yes.
making, and I'm very glad that we finally were able to do this. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as part of the Awakenpedia co-creation space. I'm
Yes.
very, very grateful for what you have created here in online, so we can all be part of the awakening.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And that was actually something I wanted to start with today was to ask you to share a bit about what it was that brought you um, perhaps magnetized you to Awakenpedia and what ultimately led to you wanting to become a partner of this. Would you share a bit about that?
Yes, 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 sure, with pleasure. Well, it was funny because I think it was maybe last year, at the end of last year, that I was just scrolling around in Instagram, and I think maybe you were like starting a little bit, like in the early stages, maybe, I don't know. But I just something pop up in the web, in the Instagram, and I said, oh, that is interesting. It's like a wiki, it's a Wikipedia, but for the spiritual world. So as I start searching and digging around, and I saw the beautiful thing that you're doing, getting people together as members, also as teachers, mentors, with different kind of all kind of the spectrum of tools for utilize for ourselves and to teach other people to use it as well, so we can all come join in a path of going back to our essence, which is the energy, and communicate with our inner soul, our inner purpose, our inner spirit. So we start. That was like that, basically, that I found you and I connect with you. We had a little call a long time ago, and time went going. I started building my webpage, start managing my package of services online, because previous to that I was doing it only face-to-face, one-to-one treatments. So voila, finally we're here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you did a really nice job too of describing and capturing the essence of Awakenpedia in terms of the underlying intention and mission of helping to return us to our essence using the variety of pathways available that are often varying in terms of what we do, how we do it, but ultimately bring us back to the same place of who we are as realized through the here and now.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, so thank you. Um, okay, so I would love to also now focus on you, and that is the intention of this call and this interview intro, if you will. Um, and I typically like to begin that by asking you to share with us about your personal journey and um, to whatever end and extent you'd like to share, what feels right, but how you've progressed along your personal path that's led you into the world of energy healing, into what you do now, and yeah, whatever you'd like to share about that.
How many days we have in this life?
We have the
Well,
map. We have the map.
exactly. So, long story short, mainly it started very, very early in my life, like, like thinking about it. I remember when I was like around 9 years old, the first, like, this kind of experience that I had was I was in like my grandmother's house in Medellin. I'm originally from Colombia, so I flew to my grandma's house, which is in another city. I was living in Bucaramanga. I was born and living in Bucaramanga, and I traveled to my grandmother from my mother's side. And I remember I was sleeping one day,
and I was like sleeping, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I saw like a ghost. So like a energetic figure. It was a cowboy. It was doing like, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm getting crazy. What is this? What is this? What is this?" Anyway, instinctively, I said to myself, "You know what? I'm gonna just put my hands in my belly button so no one enters in my body." I don't know why, I had 9 years old, so it's like you're already with these kind of feelings, sensations. We are all born with this opening. So I said, I'm crazy. But I didn't pay much attention to it. Nothing happens. Then I start like having this kind of curiosity, I would say, on live. Like I was checking, like going to have like palm reading, tarot reading, like let's do the birth chart, all these things when I was a teenager. Meanwhile, I was having my normal life, like, like going to school, being like in a very privileged position, because I'm very grateful that I was born in a very good family. I have a very good education. I went to Catholic school. I received every single program for this society in my brain. All of them, mentioned them, and I had them. So I started receiving all this information, but at the same time, like curiosity was always moving me around to like living the human experience, right? Like I was the black sheep of my house. Like I was going into experience. I was drinking. I was smoking. I was doing some kind of drugs at some point. I was doing, living just an experience. At the same time, going my education. I was studying architecture, going in that life. But in the other side as well, I was going curious. I was just curious and open to what else is there, right? I didn't have like that traumatic awakening in my life, like saying, okay, I almost like you had the experience, Cam. But I was living all the living experience that we can have here. Like, okay, my heart was broken. I was looking for something outside myself, to fulfill to be accepted, to be rebel. So I studied architecture. I went out and be like a super good, working in a big firm and doing big projects and showing the world that women can make it too and be like a big boss and, all these programs that we have in our brain. On the same side, level, I was curious on it. And when I was like 20 years old, so I'm 50, so 30 years ago, I went to do some belly dancing classes in Colombia. So like learning to dance, to go back to the femininity and working on the female side, because all the structure of the world that we have is very masculine, is doing, showing, planning, managing, and make it happen. So I started doing like the belly dancing and all that with a very good teacher in Colombia, Antonina Canal. And then she was dating at that time someone that was doing Reiki. And we start talking about it, and I said, wow, you can do that. We can do that. We can go and manage energy and feel the energy. Wow, this sounds amazing. I was like, blow me out. Like, okay, this is a completely different world. So I started doing Reiki 1, and I did a lot of Reiki for family, friends, for myself, and go on. But at the same time, living la vida loca. So sex, drug, rock and roll, living. Some points of that, I got very separate from my spirituality, but I always went back to it. So then I moved, long story short, I moved to, finished my architectural degree. And at that point in Colombia, there was a big crisis and there were not construction. So I moved to Spain to study a master's degree. And at the same time, as I was doing my professional development in my career, I met someone, these angels that comes into your life and said, hey, remember that you have a mission here. So it was in the real estate, and he also is also working still in the real estate. And but we start talking about Reiki and things like that. And I said, let's do the Reiki too. And I came back 15 years after to Reiki too. And then Akashic reading appears in my life, and I said, okay, this someone read it to me, and I was doing Reiki, and because I had to travel a lot for all around Spain, I went to do the Akashic readings and blew my brain again. I said, okay, whoa. That person didn't know anything about my life. I didn't ask any specific questions. And I received so many messages 15 years ago, or maybe 20, that just now are making sense and resonated with me, you know? And like studying geometric, sacred geometry, reading the Kybalion, go back to the feminine side and balance with the masculine side, all these tools and things and information that right now are super into the world and we are all integrating in our system, that came to me 50 years ago. So I start keep practicing with friends and family. Meanwhile, my normal life was happening. My heart was broken and divorced, remarried, being very successful at my architectural professional career. But at the same time, I was very frustrated. I was super oppressed and sad. It would take me a lot of energy. Took me a lot of energy to do my job, to go to work, even though I love architecture, but it was tiring, it was consuming. So I said, something's going on. This is not real my purpose. I want to help. I always wanted to help. I always wanted to serve. I even had like a postgraduate studies and international cooperation for third world countries. And I wanted always to, work in development and helping. I even have a thesis and project that I couldn't finish. And I tried to work on that area of the field, but all the doors, ping, 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 were closing and closing. I said, please, I volunteer. No, you are too old to volunteer. And I was like, come on, world, what's going on? But finally, after I didn't want to go back to work in architecture and project management. I went back because all the doors were closed. I moved to New York. I worked there as well in New York as an architect. I felt like very separated from my spirituality at that point, but I had a mission there and I was having my baby. I have my daughter that is now, she's 7 years old, and it's been a blessing in my life, a beautiful angel that came to light our days. And then I finally wanted to come back to Europe. We moved back to Europe now. I'm living in Paris. And when we moved to Paris, I said, oh no, not going back to that sector. I have to find the balance and integrate my life, the way that I can serve, I can help, and do something important, be happy doing what I do. This is our natural essence, like feeling happy to wake up and saying, okay, I'm going to do this in my life because it's my purpose, it's my mission, is what I love to do every single day. So I start thinking, I said, the only way to help the world or help others is not going to do international cooperation for third world countries. I can help people by doing Reiki. Been doing it 15 years, 20 years. Come on, you have it there. Knock, knock. So that was 3 years ago that I start my business, my own journey, my new business. I founded N-Reiki Art. I started to integrate everything. Everything came, like all the pieces came together. All the puzzle start like making the crack there. And I started like preparing as well more to have to accompany my clients for an experience, not only with Reiki, which is the essence of everything in the life, the energy is everything in the life, but also to start reflexology, then aromatherapy. So I do my own blends. I have something like, for example, this one. I start working on breathwork. I start learning about manifesting, going to the quantum field. Everything came so easy in my life to integrate it that it's just magical. And I love to do what I do, and I love to be with people that want to be helped, that want not help, because at the end of the day it's just like it's a journey that we all have, and we all have to work in ourselves. It's just taking the hand of the people, using different tools. Some resonate more, some resonate less, but at the end of the day is your inner work, is your going back to the essence, to the light, to the spirit that you have, using tools, and voila, that's it. Is getting back to the essence. And at some point of my life, maybe less than a year ago, I said, okay, I have all these tools, all this information that I have for myself and to serve. Come on, coherence. So I have like a stop on my like, okay, doing. Of course, my brain has been training 50 years to be a project manager. So I'm into the control 100%. So, okay, release the control, which is not an easy task, and let it flow, and let it just be, and let it like start shaping itself with all the tools that you have, and start working and go inwards and use everything that I'm learning on myself. So now I can share it more with people, and each day is a little bit more connected when I'm doing one-to-one session on Reiki, or Feng Shui, because at the end of the day, Feng Shui that came later in my life. Well, even though I'm an architect, but it came later in my life how to integrate it, because it was a fight like with the system that I had. So I said, okay, come on, architecture is beautiful. So how we live in our spaces for many moments in our life, our office spaces, our home. So how do we make that our spaces are helping us to be enlightened, to be in a calm state? How we help the energy flow in our homes, in our offices, help us in that inner work we're doing. So that's when the Feng Shui entered in my life. So it's like inner and outer, because at the end of the day, we're living in this 3D world, right? So we have to embody everything that we're doing and everything that we're doing in our lives. So this is my purpose.
Beautiful. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing so eloquently and thoroughly your journey with us. It really is, I think, one that resonates so deeply with so many, particularly just like the classic needing to continue to learn, repeat the same struggles until you learn the lesson, right?
Oh,
Like,
yes. I think we both related on that, and like working
yeah.
on like
Until you wake up,
exactly.
you continue to repeat the same errors and interpretation and perception of what's happening here. But the key is that you are waking up, and you did, and you're continuing to, and look how it's absolutely transforming your life. And it really allows you to just blossom in ways that you can't ever imagine. But thank you for sharing your story, and um, how you progressed along this path and this life cycle that you've been living, from start to now. um, it really is just, it's such wonderful evidence to see the transformation as it is.
It is.
Um, so one thing I do want to focus on here is how you've been able to integrate your what we call normal life, the worldly journey, and the career you've had in architecture, and how you've been able to bring that into your modalities that you focus on, in particular context of Reiki and Feng Shui. And if you could speak to that, and how you use Reiki and Feng Shui as these modalities to help return us to our essence. Um, yeah. So if we could, let's transition into those modality focuses and kind of the offerings around those.
Yeah, right. So Well, Reiki, both of them are working, it's energy, it's working with energy. So both of them are essentially the same, but one it's on the physical world and the other one is inner world, right? So they're perfectly complemented. They're not separate. In fact, there is nothing separate. There is just oneness.
Yeah.
So when we go inwards and we work in our healing experience and our redefining and remembering is the word, remembering who we are, because the awakening is more, is nothing more or less than remember who we really are, the essence of who we really are. And it's a journey that never ends. I guess we just came here and decided to live this fun and human experience and learn this and that and going blah 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 until the end of I don't know, until the end of the days, but it will never stop at the end of the day. So, but the beauty of it is like when you go inwards and you start going into meditation, allowing to receive, because using the tools like these, open up so you receive the energy. And at the end of the day, it's your energy, it's not my energy, or it's the energy of the world when we do Reiki. So that energy is going to go inside you and it's going to balance whatever each one of us need, where you focus your attention until step by step you're integrating more and more and more, and you feel more embodying the Reiki precepts, which is living in peace, not stressing, not being angry, living the day to day on the moment. Because when you worry, you're worried about the past, but you're worried because something happened, but it's the past. So there's nothing to do with the past. You cannot fix the past. You just don't put more or less energy in the attention to do to that problem. That's it. And then the future is 100 millions, I don't know how many of possibilities. So why you worry about the future? You don't know what is going to happen in the future. So live in the moment and embody all that energy of the moment through healing and through energy, to just be in that energy and being aware of that energy that you have in your body. So that's Reiki. And what happened when the integration happened is that, okay, yes, we have to be grounded, because yes, we can connect from heaven and earth, but remember, we're here in this planet, we're here in this 3D experience. So how do you live embodying this in your day to day and being conscious that around you everything is affecting that energy, not only the problems you had in the past, the possibilities futures you have and the attention to put to it, but the objects you have at home, but the clutter you have at home, all these things that are in your home or in your office that are affecting energetically each person differently, because depending of where the moment you were born, the date you were born, that energy is affecting you differently. So the beauty of it is discover how, if you just small changes in your house can make the energy flow. Like for example, when you sit in your office, what is important? You have your desk, you have your chair, and you have the back to the door. So a simple, like simply as like you have to face the door, because the door is where the client, where the people, where the energy enter. So you face it. You're not going giving the back, saying I cannot help you, I cannot have clients. You're facing that door because this is how you welcome into the world the people, right? It's just these small things that you can change in your house, in your daily basis, that triggers unconsciously this state of mind to flow in the daily basis.
Got
It's
it.
more or less, is it clear?
Yes, yes. And I think that it's a really important point to emphasize that, and which you did in the sense that it's one energy, right? There is no separation. And that's what allows Awakenpedia to work as it is, which is to say there are dozens and dozens of different pathways or modalities that all are ushering us back to the one same here and now,
Yes.
same essence. same truth, right?
Exactly.
And so we have different applications for those, and we have different ways of helping to facilitate that return process. And
Exactly.
it's on different levels, right? And so feng shui happens more so in our sense perceived physical 3D world,
Exactly.
which helps bridge us back into spirit. And it's like
Exactly.
this channeling process. And the more clear that physical channel is, the easier it is to access the spiritual dimension
Exactly.
and that
Exactly.
flow of energy to be coherent. And flow state as is often described in more of a mental context, but there's a flow state in the physical world as well, and how we live within our environments. So
Yeah. Yes, yes. Just for example, if you enter your house, you are out, you're working very hard, you're also having your inner work, you meditate, you go inwards, you use different tools, you might use Reiki, you might use yoga, whatever you use in your daily life. And you come home, you open the door, and you see all the shoes in the floor in front of you, clutter. So you start receiving unconsciously this information. So it make it harder for you, coherence. Everything in the world is coherence. So, and then you keep entering, and you go and take your coat and you put it in the couch, or you throw in whatever in the first place you find. This is coherence. You go and meditate, but you come home and you do all these kind of behaviors in our tree world that make more difficult and more like blockage in your life. So why not make it life easier?
yes. And I think this is where the essence of minimalism comes from, in this movement that we've been seeing proliferate over the past several decades, of a shift towards a preference of minimalism. As more and more of us wake up, we naturally are drawn more towards minimalist lifestyles that are less cluttering, less things, because all of these things take up a lot of space, and energetically speaking, often are carrying trapped egoic energy that's mind-made, man-made, that's reducing the vibration of
Yeah,
the environment, and therefore has that potential effect to bring us down with it, vibrationally speaking. So
yeah,
I love feng shui. I think that it is so important to consider, and it's so often neglected when we think about spiritual hygiene, energetic hygiene, health on
exactly,
all levels. And the truest form of health has to include our environments, because it's our environments in which we live and through which we access the transcendent dimension.
exactly.
So
You
it
say it
cannot,
beautifully. Let me take notes.
you know, it's just how I see it, right? But
Yeah,
I know it's how you see it too, and
yes,
and that's what this chat is for, to help us communicate what the work you do and how valuable it is. Um, so let's talk about your actual specific offerings now, in context of feng shui, in context of Reiki, and the various other modalities you serve and speak to. But do you provide consultations for, like, looking
yes.
at feng shui and helping people to assess their environments and how we can, make tweaks and work? Can you talk about like the packages you have, the offerings, and that?
Yes, so I have it separately. They're not the same. Well, we can create something like custom made, depending of the client, but mainly on the Reiki side, I have online services as well as in-person services. So starting from just one session online, because remember, there is no time, there is no space. So the Reiki I do here, you receive it there. We're just connected because we are one. So I do Reiki online, uh, which is very beautiful. I use meditation, some activations. I do some oracle reading as well when I do as part of the session. We talk a little bit, and that's it. And then I have a package which is like 1 month that we can work together creating on a a weekly basis, one-to-one. I have some workbooks to make some homework, some soul work, because at the end of the day, so it got stick on our brain and our soul and our essence. If we work on it, we have to do some exercise, we have to do some journaling, we have to do some meditation, we have to do some awareness. So going deep inside and look inside yourself, what am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? Going back to soul self-love, going back to recognizing our power, our truth, that we are completed inside, that there is a masculine side, that there is a feminine side, that we're completed through some coaching, through Reiki. So it's called from purpose to prosperity, your purpose to prosperity. So it's how we go back to remember who you are, your essence, and what you really want to do in life. So through that is, through being in that state is where you manifest.
Yes.
Is where you start manifesting and creating the infinite possibilities that the universe has. But everything has to be integrated, because right now these days we receive a lot of information like, let's manifest here, let's communicate with Earth and feel integrated with Earth here, which is fine. But we have to be coherent and integrate everything in our system, knowing who we are, because we can start sitting here meditating and say, manifest, I dream, I go to the quantum field and I bend the world. But I take the future into the present and I manifest it, but I don't even know who am I. You know what I mean? And I don't go inwards to say, okay, I like this. I enjoy dancing. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy, I don't know, cooking, doing embroidery, painting. I don't know, this kind of all these beautiful things that all of us have. We just center in, you know what, I'm traumatized because in my childhood I was this and that. And of course, it's not that we don't want to bypass the situations, but we want to focus on what you really are and take this person out of the shell, start taking layers out so you can go inwards and see who you really are. And on the Feng-Shui side, I do my package is like, okay, we have a series of online calling, virtual callings where we will visit the entire space. We will see how is everything on the daily day in a couple of live calls. We have chat. Then if you have a floor plan, you send it to me. If not, we will have to figure it out how to make it. Maybe use yourself. You can do it like in a napkin and draw in and taking some measurements and send it to me. And then I draw a floor plan. I take according what you have, and we make a plan, and we go with the things that you have in your house. You can potentialize some aspect of your life, like your wisdom, like your health, like every aspect of your life. You can potentialize with certain objects in certain directions, depending, because there is the fire, and so there is a sun in the room that is fire, but for the floor plan it goes into your bathroom. So you have a lot of water and you have sink, but you're fire. So what happened when you have water on the fire? So you have to make some cures to potentialize that area back again. So you put a candle, you see, to potentialize the fire that in your floor plan is in the bathroom, right? So this is like we work together. I make a consultant, we make calls, we see what you have, we take pictures, I do the floor plan, and you take action.
Beautiful.
As simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's the feng shui part too, in terms of working with people and helping them to cultivate a floor plan that aligns with their energy and allows there to be coherence on the levels of mind, body, soul, is so underserved today. There's so few people I know, Natalia, that actually are doing this. So it's a true joy and honor to have you with us, to be able to speak
thank you.
from the seat of the soul, and not from the mind.
Perfect.
To
Yes.
be able to use the heart as your compass to curate an environment that is energetically coherent on all dimensions
Exactly.
of existence is rare, and it's as important to healing as any other modality, because we spend all of our time in our environment. So
Exactly.
to,
You live
yeah,
24/7 in space.
yes.
Yes.
So it's I sense this will be a subcategory, a modality that will increasingly grow in demand and interest as more and more humans wake up and start to feel the impacts of their
Exactly.
environments energetically. They become aware, and that's why often in this awakening journey, um, especially earlier on, we're very sensitive to the energy profiles of what's around us. Right, we start to get sensitive to what is in our environments and who we're with, and why we often have to withdraw from the world, because it's just so noisy. The energy, we're too sensitive to it. So I think feng shui as a modality has levels of importance that so few today recognize, but
Yes.
will as they start to come into that awareness of who they are. So
Hopefully, yes.
yeah, beautiful.
Because at the end of the day, it's important to remember that yes, now is very, which I thanks to the universe, there is more people doing the inner work and trying to be connected and using tools and breathwork and many things that existed in our hands to go inwards and reconnect with that energy. But we tend to go into the woo space, but remember, we are living in this 3D world, and we have to also be conscious about the energy around us and the nature as well. Mother Nature that is here, that is there, and we're part of it. So, how do we respect nature?
Mm.
So, there's many components on this journey, awakening journey. The important is to be coherent. So,
Yeah.
coherent, yes.
Yep. Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, look, I can't believe it's already almost 40 minutes
Oh
in here.
my
And
God.
yeah, but I feel like we had a really nice review of your journey, of the offerings you provide. Is there anything else you'd like to speak to on that end before we transition to this final closing remarks here about the work you do? Anything else you offer? I know that you,
Well, I have many things to offer.
yeah.
I even do embroidery. I'm doing like this kind of with my mother in Colombia, which is beautiful soul. We are doing embroidery, like an active meditation where we're putting the energy and we're selling these like beautiful cushions, like handmade, amazingly beautiful. That's also some part of like a growing project that I have in my head to connect with people in a way that we can exchange knowledge, and that not only the tools of the energy of the spirit, but the tools of the art, which is also beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And I was going to say that everyone will be able to learn more about all of your offerings from reviewing, your information in our member forum and all of the links. And
Exactly.
so people can learn more and see all of the incredible things you have. But, I also just want to affirm you again in the sense that your ability to integrate your quote unquote normal life with uh, this new transformed metamorphosized life of the butterfly is really is really empowering, even for me, for everyone I think who's tuning in and going through this awakening journey themselves, because how the question always is, how do we bridge these worlds, right? How do we take our humaneness and our 3D existence and use that in service of our higher self? So to witness you taking your career in architecture and not throwing that away or renouncing it or rejecting it, but surrendering to it to learn how to integrate it into these
Exactly. You
energetic.
say it is surrender to it, like stop the control, let it flow, surrender to it, and
Yeah,
it's part of your being. So don't deny any
yeah,
part of it.
yeah, yeah. I just want to commend you for doing that, because so many times I've seen people think it's separate, right? That we have to throw away the world or renounce our worldly careers or endeavors or projects or interests. But I see the truest form of enlightenment, awakened being
Thank
is
you.
to merge this all together, the oneness
Yes.
that it is. And so it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy. Finally, I'm like, oh, okay, good. I'm not struggling here. Like I'm very happy, and of course, always learning, because, as I said in the beginning, this is never stops.
Yeah.
Never stops.
Right. Who knows what happens next? But the now is eternal. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Okay, so the last thing I'd like to do here is to ask you if there's any type of wisdom, guidance, insight that you would like to share with the community in any context and speaking to any point on this journey, but something that you feel your heart is guiding you to impart with us right now.
Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate your life. Just keep it simple and let it flow, because we have too much in our head. So go back to the essence and keep it simple.
Yes, exactly. Very, very much in line with this conversation in terms of minimalism, the Feng Shui, reducing clutter, bringing us back to the truth, which is very simple. It's the mind that makes it all so complicated and seems so separate. But the truth is simple. Who we are is simple. It is what is. It is now, here and now. And stripping away all of the illusion that makes it seem not simple. Right?
Exactly. There is a light, and you have a bulb. We have a lot of things on the light around, like a lamp. So when we take all the etiquettes of the layer of the lamp, it's the same lamp. It doesn't bright less or more. It's the same, but we just see it more.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, Natalia, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I am so happy, honored that you're here with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we may grow together and serve the world together.
Sure. Yay. Co-create.
Yeah, co-creating. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.